To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Not simply their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art.
Look how old you've become.
I am the Senate. This is but a taste of the dark side. Like you said, only the strongest shall rule.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
I turned on the Republic, but I have found redemption.
No, I'm not going to take the fall for something I didn't do.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is the Imperial Remnant broadcast coming to you live from the Fandom Empire YouTube channel, broadcasting from just outside Toronto, Ontario, Canada. In the case of four of us, well, one other guy is broadcasting just down outside of Baltimore, Maryland, in the United States of America. Boy, do we have a show in store for you guys today. We have the Mandalorian TV schedule. We have who is the best director ever in Star Wars. We also have the top 5 Star Wars novels, which we're all going to give our list. Hopefully everybody remembered to do that. And then we have the Death Watch, which I'm sure Thaden will find a way to cheat his way to victory again. No, I'm kidding. He doesn't cheat, but fucking guy doesn't stop winning. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. And this is our our band of renegades to shout out to the old show. First up from the Rogue Sons of Star Wars podcast, Kieran, how's it going, man?
Not too bad. Things are going good, I guess. Not a lot of news to be excited about, but yeah, things are going good.
We're gonna have plenty to discuss in about 2.5 weeks, so
yeah, it's coming up. The avalanche is coming.
Also from Rogue Sons, a Star Wars podcast, it's Mr. Thaden. How's it going, man?
Ahoy. I'm doing all right. It's reading week, so I can finally stop being exhausted over school. And yeah, I don't know. It's good.
You know, I was just about to say, you look tired, man. You sound exhausted.
Yeah, I am.
Also joining us this evening, his hair is in fact growing back. I wasn't so sure it was going to happen, but it appears to be happening for him. It's Johnny. What's happening, dude?
Leave my hair alone. Okay.
I can do my best to comply with that, but I can't promise it.
Big surprise there.
Right? I mean, at least I'm being honest. I mean, that's got to be worth something at the end of the day. And also... No, nothing?
No.
And also joining us, yeah, that guy over there, Tommy. What's up? No, also joining us, number 2 here at Fandom Empire, Tommy B. What's happening, man?
Eat shit.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
Downplay me like that. I guess I'll just go fuck myself. Yeah, I don't get no good intro. Might as well just log off now tonight. Show's over.
You know, I know this isn't Fandom Empire Live, but I just have to say that I saw the pimp hat for you when I was in Peterborough on the weekend, man. Pimp hat, pimp coat. If I had the extra funds on me, man, I would have been buying it.
Where were you?
Spirit Halloween. And,
I was in that stream. I might be going to Spirit Halloween this weekend.
Dude, it had your name all over it. Oh, you could just create this new character. People would come to just see you.
Create a persona that I transform into midstream.
Why midstream? Just start it right off the bat.
Just start right off the bat.
Give the people what they
I don't
want.
Get to do a transformation. What the fuck? What the fuck's the whole point?
He's
Transformation.
saying he doesn't want the regular Tommy at all.
It's gotta
That's a
be like an
separate
anime.
YouTube
There's
series.
gotta be flashy colors and shit, and all sorts of rainbows and
Hey, what's wrong with
blues and
rainbows?
purples.
That's a bit out of our budget, Tommy.
Alberto in the chat. If Tommy B wears the pimp hat, can Johnny wear my Bloody Valentine remake T-shirt?
Oh yeah!
Oh,
We're
wow.
smashing up the style.
There's not enough
Wow.
China for that.
Oh, that's good. That is good. I like that. Crossing over the shows right now. Well, without further ado, the very little news that there is. Let's dive into it, guys. First up, it's the Mandalorian schedule has been released, and despite reports and rumors coming out of places like IGN and Deadline, it shows that even the big places can get it wrong once in a while. It was speculated for some time that we would get maybe 2, possibly 3 episodes up front, and then the 5 would follow. And that is not going to happen, as it's going to be 1 a week, not even the short. In the first season, we had 2 short weeks, basically, where it was you got 2 episodes in about 3 or 4 days. That happened twice, and that's not going to happen. It's 7 days about, and 1 at a time. How's everyone feeling about that, especially considering these things are probably only half an hour long? Just anybody who wants to throw their hat in, let's have more of an organic conversation tonight rather than me pick out people. Let's do this. Let's talk about if we're okay with 1 at a time.
I actually have. I'm good with both. It's funny because like I want a lot right away because it's like yeah, sweet, like give me as much. But also, I get sad when things end. Like if I'm watching a show and then I watch the last episode and then I'm like, I don't get this show again for like a year
or
like,
ever.
That upsets me. So it really doesn't bother me either way. I think I'm like, oh damn, like I'm not gonna get that one night of like super fandom. But I think like logically, I'm happy that it's gonna stretch out over a longer period of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think I am. I just question if they're only like. The popular belief is these things are only going to be about half an hour long, which I just still think is ridiculous and a bit of a ripoff. And it's not enough, in my opinion, for a live action show. These things should be 40, 45 minutes minimum. Every other streaming service, it's 40 to 45 minutes. And, the amount of money that Disney has and the money that they put into it, you'd think we would get appropriate episode lengths, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. We're not here to talk about the episode lengths, though. We're here to discuss the 1 week at a time. Is everybody okay with that? What do the other 3 think?
I'm totally cool with it. It's exactly what I was expecting. I had never at any point expected the 2 episode launch. Just didn't see it happening. I definitely saw that they were going to stick to the 1 episode a week. They want to stretch it out because that's how you lure more subscribers in and such. I get to feel maybe they did the 2 episode because the service was still new. If I remember correctly, Mandalorian launched with Disney Plus. I think that was the day it launched, maybe just shortly before. I know my subscription's coming up for renewal, I think the first week in November. But, that's pretty cool. 1 year.
I thought you purchased the multi-year.
What's that?
I thought you purchased multiple years at once.
No, I didn't hop into that deal. I mean, remember, that deal was never supposed to be for us anyway. It was a glitch in Disney's system, and they just flew with it, if I remember correctly. No, I purchased 1 year. But yeah, I think Mando premiered first week in November or so. Now we're coming up to the last week in November, or October, excuse me, and we're getting a new season. It all makes sense. They're gonna milk it. They're gonna get as much subscription time as they can.
Yeah, this is pretty much the same as how they did it. Mandalorian season 1 did launch with Disney. It was on November 12th, but that was a Tuesday, so they did it Tuesday, and then they started on Fridays that same week. So this is pretty much the same thing. It's just half a week less between the first 2 episodes. So I'm pretty fine with it. It's same as normal TV. I don't really have an issue with it. If I decide I don't like 1 week at a time, then I'll just wait until it's done, which probably won't happen. So yeah.
I spent the better part of 25 years of my existence in a pre-streaming binge world. So 1 episode a week is perfectly acceptable. I mean, I spent the first 15, 16 years of my life pre-time shifting, pre-PVR. I mean, you know, it's not a big deal to me. You know, I grew up, you know, and most of us, you know, I can't even say that now because 3/5 of this panel grew up entirely as kids where if you missed your show, you were fucked. You know, you didn't get to watch it again an hour later because it was, you know, on a Western channel feed or a, you know, Pacific channel feed, or you could catch the replay on, you know, on demand. You know, those things don't exist.
I don't know who you're looking at, but I never had access to these fancy features and whatnot.
I'm saying you're young enough where
I had on demand.
I'm saying you're young enough where that portion of your life is much shorter than mine.
Yeah,
where I went,
you know, these things. It was a weird time of transition. You know, some people had the DVR, others had on demand, but it was still a premium service. It wasn't as widely available as it is now, and
it still existed. Is the point I'm getting at?
It did. Yeah.
Know, back in my day, it was you caught it when it was on, or you missed it, and you hoped to high hell or you'd hope to high hell they'd air a rerun on the weekend. You know, and that didn't always happen.
I still remember as a kid yelling at my parents that we couldn't go grocery shopping until after X-Men the Animated Series was over Saturday morning. Like, I was just bawling and yelling at them like, I'll never see it again.
Oh, man. I just want to turn things over to the chat for a second. Alberto says it's way too short. At least release them all at the same time. Kenny says, I'm fine with episodes coming out week to week. He has Verizon and a 1-year subscription to Disney Plus. Michael Q's in the chat saying, hey, how's it going? And Frank Riker, howdy, man. How's it going? And I'm going to plug something here real quick because I'll forget if I don't. And hopefully I'm not crossing the line by saying this. But I had the absolute pleasure of being able to listen to Frank Riker, who's a chat mod here on our YouTube channel, and Darren Sands, who's one of our big supporters here, who's also a chat mod over on Dave McRae's channel. They are launching a new podcast called the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast, which is just, it's the most Frank Riker name I could possibly ever think of, except for maybe, two of us in a hot tub or something like that. And let me tell you, I think they go live Friday. Frank can clear it up in the chat. I'm not sure, but I'm sitting there and I'm putting together a bunch of the production equipment for Haddonfield to Vanished. And I'm like, you know what? This is the perfect time to listen to that preview they sent me. And I'm like, I'm almost scared to hear Frank talk because, you know, I've seen Frank over on McRae's channel now for well over a year or two. And I'm like, I'm just waiting for it. And you know what? My heart broke, guys, because Frank Riker didn't have a silly voice. He wasn't even like, I was expecting like just this, you know, full on comedy session basically. And Frank is fucking awesome. Frank is a natural. Frank and Darren too, because you got to remember Darren's from overseas. He's a Brit, and so you have Frank and Darren playing off of one another. And I can't possibly tell people anymore to go check out this podcast. It's fantastic. I'll admit, had never seen the movie they were talking about. I don't even know. I think it's Werewolf in London or something like that. I had never seen it, never even heard of it, to be honest. But hearing Frank and Darren go back and forth about it, Frank, you should have been on YouTube or podcasting years ago, man. You're a natural. 10/16 is the release on all podcast platforms. So,
talking an American Werewolf in London.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Okay,
I'm
confused. I'm thinking, like, is this another film with a similar title? Because that happens a lot in these genres where it's like,
guys, it's a must listen to. Like, you would never believe that it's their first podcast episode. It's incredible. The quality is great. They knock it out of the park. It's two of those voices, you don't have a visual to put to it that, even though I'm focused on putting the production stuff together, like, I didn't miss a beat of it. Like, they had me. I was totally enthralled in it. And you got to check that out. The Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast coming your way October the 16th. Those guys are going to knock it out of the park. And I think basically their plan is to cover lesser known horror movies. We lost Kieran's camera again. It flipped upside down. But lesser known horror movies. And I would encourage everybody to go check that out. Frank's an awesome guy. So is Darren. And it's high quality stuff. I really loved it. Nope. We still don't have. There we go. Kieran fixed it. All right. Now that I'm done plugging one of our mods projects, we can get back on track here. And guys, I have to ask you, we're now, 2.5 weeks away from the release of The Mandalorian Season 2, at least the first episode. We know that somewhere there's footage of Ahsoka that's been filmed and meant for some sort of teaser or trailer or, TV spot. The first season had 2 trailers. I believe the second trailer dropped about 2 weeks before the season came out. How are you guys feeling? Do you need another trailer? Do you want to see that Ahsoka footage prior to coming out?
I want to pause you real quick there, Sean. I'm reading some articles right now saying there was a teaser released today or yesterday.
Well, it definitely wasn't. There's no way it was yesterday. I can tell you that.
Have any of you come across some kind of teaser featuring a tiny little bit of additional footage of the child, Amanda?
I think I know.
It's so hard to figure out if this is something different because it's stuff we've mostly already seen.
There was a Disney Plus commercial that involves like 3 or 4 shows. It seemed to have a couple clips that I didn't see in the original.
That makes more sense. I'm just trying to sort through these articles. What teaser? What's new? I can't figure out between the trailer, what we've already seen, and what is new. What's different?
I see. Solid Saturn in the chat says, Never Hike in the Snow has released. I intend to, once we finish up here, go and work a bit more on Haddonfield Vanished. And when I'm doing that, I'm going to be watching Never Hike in the Snow. The quality of those things are amazing. Hey, the people that are in the lawsuit for that one, get your shit figured out and hire Vincent DeSante. He knows how to make it. All right. How do the rest of you guys feel, though? Do we need another trailer? Are you itching to see more? Or can they go in with what they've shown?
I didn't need the first trailer. Could have just told me.
We heard about the Ahsoka. I want to see it. It's made.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to see Ahsoka now because I would rather be surprised when it comes on screen and then pop then.
I don't know. Like, if we all know about it, we're not going to be surprised in the same way. It's not like when you're kids and you see a big twist that you weren't expecting, or maybe you don't follow the news so closely. I'll tell you, when I was watching Rebels and Ahsoka came out of nowhere as Fulcrum, I think I got suspicious towards the end. But, that was a little bit of surprise you might not have expected in the same way, because I wasn't so plugged into the news, at least not in the same way as I am now, as from time to time. Yeah.
Johnny, I know you were trying to jump in there.
Yeah, for me, at this point, I'm good.
Yeah.
There's really no point at this point, I should say. I mean, we're 2.5 weeks? Ish into this, right? Yeah. So I mean, there's no point for me. You can't whet my appetite anymore this late in the game. I mean, could they drop something? Sure. Would I be surprised? No. But do I expect it? No. Do I want it? Also, no. Because I'm good. You know, you whet my appetite. You teased things. You threw some, some curveballs and fan speculations that everyone was so sure of these things that now it's like, maybe you were wrong. I'm of course talking about Sasha Banks. And
I don't think we were wrong on that. To be honest, I still believe that's Sabine we see, but. Frank Riker in with a super chat. Any other force powers you would like to see from Baby Yoda? There's a loaded question.
I got one right off the bat.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. One that allows people to start calling him by his name.
You don't need the name. The name.
I don't even need a name. Just stop calling him Baby Yoda.
It's not going to happen, man. It's stuck. It's going to be Baby Yoda forever. They can hate.
I'm tired of that now. I hate that. I hate it. I never liked it at all.
You know what,
Maybe
Tommy?
One day he will grow into Yoda number 2.
For as much as you call me the hater, I think the real hater all this time has been Johnny. Hating on the prequels, hating on certain games, hating on Baby Yoda now. Bloody hell, does anything...
It's not Baby Yoda that I'm hating on. It's not the character that I hate. It's the fans taking that name.
Really? So what were they supposed to call him?
He was the child. Call him the child.
They didn't even start to call him the child until I believe after the season was over.
He was the asset. They called him many things.
We're gonna call him the asset.
They never.
Boy, the asset was amazing in this episode.
I hate that Baby Yoda has become acceptable.
Oh,
beyond just the fans, it's become acceptable from Star Wars. You buy a Funko Pop, it's Baby Yoda.
No, it's not.
Is it? I've seen one.
It's the child.
Well, then good for them. Fans need to stop customizing that shit to say Baby Yoda and posting it up on Instagram.
Where is it here?
But
for a serious answer to that last question,
the child.
My favorite force ability that I think would be cool if they were able to somehow capture him is my favorite is basically reading the future. So if they could somehow, it would be hard because the character doesn't talk or have a monologue, but if they could somehow make it seem as if the child knew what was going to happen before it happened, then I think that would be cool.
When he closes his bassinet right before shit pops off.
I don't think that was like reading the future. I think that was reading the room.
What if he touches Ahsoka's hand or something, and you see it cuts to a really quick 5-second flash of all these images of Ahsoka in the future, and then cuts back, and that's the way of seeing him see the future.
Something like that would be cool, I think. If it's done right, of course, everything if it's done right, but
I don't mind the future snippets thing, but then you just start playing Final Destination. I don't like that.
Oh man, is there anything you do like?
I've never liked that
anything
in a main character, because then you just start playing with the changing tides of the future, and then suddenly everything's all mapped out and wrote out. I don't like that. I don't want to know where we're going until we get there. But you can have your side characters or your tertiary characters or your hang-arounds. The characters you run into can be the ones that see the future. But I don't want the main characters to be able to see the future, because it gets dull for me when you can see the future, when you can augment that. I don't like it. If you want to know a real force power I'd like to see him use, it's battle meditation.
Anakin Skywalker saw the future.
If I want to see Baby Yoda mess around with some new force power,
what's it going to be?
It would be another play on, the whole telekinesis, push-pull sort of thing, with a Star Killer style force repulse. You just watch Baby Yoda get pissed off. Maybe the frogs are all gone, or all the chicky nuggies are ran out and getting all pissed off. Just blowing stormtroopers away or whatever the enemy of the week is.
I was going to say force choke, but we already seen that.
We've already seen
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he's already started to choke someone. So,
and I gotta tell you, I think Force Lightning is just way too much of a stretch.
I
don't
think
it's gonna happen.
they butchered Force Lightning in the Rise of Skywalker. So
We don't talk
it ain't
about
gonna
that
happen.
movie except for Thaden.
no, I don't even think Thaden liked Rise of Skywalker all that much.
Well, just in general, it just sequel trilogy. Thaden's the protector, so he just kind of gets lumped in.
I'd love him to just be like, I mean, it's not really a power per se, but like randomly see Baby Yoda reach out to like just some schmuck and be like, and you see the guy's neck snap and he's just down. Just something extremely violent and to show that if he doesn't have the guidance, oh yeah, this guy could be trouble. Kieran looks like he's seen a ghost. Thaden, how about you, man? Power for Baby Yoda.
I was actually going to say the same thing that Johnny ended up saying, battle meditation. I think it would be cool if, like, he, like, sat in his crib and was, like, calm, and then Mando started kicking ass or something, like battle meditation, but on a smaller scale, because there's not going to be any big wars.
No,
I don't know what else. I like the repulse idea that Tommy had, too.
Not likely, and Kieran's camera has flipped again on us. Alrighty, well, I think we all gave our answers. I'm gonna go to a different page here and let Kieran try to fix that. I think we all gave our answers on what we expected from or what we would have liked out of a Force Power. Thanks to Frank Riker for sending in that super chat. Let's go ahead and head on to our top 5 for this evening, where each of us will give our number 5, number 4, and number 3, and then come back and give our number 2 and number 1. And the top 5 for this evening is the top 5 Star Wars novels. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our top 5 Star Wars novels. By the way, next week when you tune into the show, not only will 4 of the 5 of us be in the same studio finally for the first time, we will have proper sound bites cut out for each segment of the show. That has been worked on over the last couple of days. Just didn't get a chance to load them up into the Rodecaster Pro. So everything will sound a little more put together. Why don't we start with Thaden, and we'll go clockwise. So give us your 5, 4, 3, and we'll go around the table.
All right, so my number 5. Funny enough, Johnny was just talking about how I'm the protector of the sequels. It's Resistance Reborn. It's one of the new books. I like it because it feels like it's kind of like an Avengers thing. There's lots of characters from all of the books, including, like, I don't know if there's any from the prequels, but there's a lot from, like, just random side characters from the original trilogy era books that are in the new canon. There's some awesome stuff with Poe and Finn, and it feels like they do more stuff in that than they did in most of the sequel trilogy. And it's really fun. It's just a fun ride. It has characters from the games too, which I like, even though I don't like the game that it's from as much. But yeah, so my next one, number 4, is Dark Disciple. It's about Ventress and Quinlan Vos, and they go try to assassinate Dooku. And obviously that doesn't go well. And it's awesome. It's one of, like, the best written books, other than about, like, 70 pages of it kind of suck. But other than that, it's really good. And then my 3 is the third Bane book. That book kicks ass. It has, like, it's my favorite of them, I think, because it's the final one, and, like, it feels like it's this big showdown between Bane and his apprentice Xana the whole time, or for a lot of it. And, like, you get to see some cool paranoia, you get to see some cool Rule of 2 stuff, and it's a finale, and I always like finales at least a little more than normal. And yeah, so that's my top 3. My last 2 are for later.
Tommy.
So I'm going to provide a quick disclaimer. I'm sure it goes without saying. I only actually include stuff in here that I've read in the past, number 1. And number 2, books that have stayed with me. I got a whole bookshelf full of Star Wars stuff, but not all of it has stayed with me over the years like others. Just to irritate Johnny, coming in at number 5, I put Secrets of the Jedi. This was a Scholastic book. And let me tell you, it was a pretty damn good one. I've actually pulled characters from this before. I think a couple of the characters from last time I did questions came out of this book. Definitely a favorite of mine. I think I read it late middle school, early high school. Number 4, I came in at Order 66, a Republic Commando novel by Karen Travis. In this book, you see Omega Squad, yeah. And maybe, I think Delta Squad, if I remember correctly, from the Republic Commando game, going through the events of Order 66 and how they respond to that and such. Number 3 needs no introduction. I put Heir to the Empire.
Nice. My number 5 is Vision of the Future, the finale of the Hand of Thrawn duology. It's a long book. It's an amazing book. They redid an audiobook for it back in, I think, 2012 with Mark Thompson. That's just phenomenal. Things like 16 hours long. And Flynn is just absolutely incredible as Thrawn. It's an amazing book. 4 for me is the Revan book. For all the reasons you've heard on this show before. It's a little bit of Knights of the Old Republic stuff, which is always great, in my opinion. And number 3 for me is, Frank Riker just mentioned it in the chat, the Darth Plagueis novel, just absolutely incredible. And for me to put that over Revan, I think it's saying something. So I'm sad that novel is now Legends, but it's still a great story to look back on.
That's on to me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I just wanted to point out this book. I don't know if it's actually my number 5, but it's a surprise out there that I just really like and read twice. Is Courtship of Princess Leia. I don't know if any of you guys even like that book at all, but I remember reading that book.
I might have read it. I don't remember for sure though.
It's like an old Legends book,
yep.
But I just remember I read it, and then I read 20 other Star Wars books, and then that one particularly stood out to me that I needed to go back and read it again. This was a long time ago, but I know that there's lots of cool stuff in it to do with Han Solo and Princess Leia, obviously, and there's lots of interesting creatures, and I don't know. I really liked the book, so I just wanted to point out, even though it's probably not actually my number 5, but number 4, I will go with the new Thrawn book. The first book of the new Thrawn trilogy, which is just called Thrawn. So, fantastic book. The way that it describes how smart Thrawn is just really. I don't know. It's it does such a great job of explaining something that is hard to explain, which is how someone is intelligent, not just saying, oh, he's smart, but explaining how they are intelligent and how they work and how their brain works. And apparently when I get to the 3rd book in the series, I'll find out even more, according to Thaden, but I'm not there yet. And my number 3 is Master and Apprentice.
It kills me that I haven't read that yet. So don't give any spoilers yet.
It's probably a ton because Qui-Gon's in it, and he's just my favorite character by far, which is funny because he's there's really not a lot of Qui-Gon stuff to go over, but he's my favorite character, and I think just writing, right? I don't know. They feel the characters in that book feel really real. They feel like people that you could meet, and I don't know. They're described in an amazing way. I think it's Claudia Gray, right, Thaden?
Yeah.
She wrote that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to read more of her books specifically because I like the writing.
Oh, man, Lost Stars. Oh, my God. I don't know if Thaden's read Lost Stars yet, but, oh.
I have.
Thaden's read everything, I think.
There's not a lot of known characters. This year. Yeah, there's not a lot of known characters in Lost Stars, and the main characters are going to be brand new to you. But what an incredibly told story from start to finish. I loved it. I don't know what they had thought of it, but Lost Stars might be, it's probably one of my top 3 favorite new canon books.
Yeah. I think I had it hyped up a bit too much for me, but it is still really good. Like, it didn't quite live up to the hype that I heard for me, but I still liked it a lot.
Sucks when that happens.
Yeah. It's still a great book, so.
But that's my 3. Courtship of Princess Leia, Thrawn, and Master and Apprentice. So that's my 5, 4, 3.
Nice. Johnny.
All right. For me, my number 5, Outbound Flight. It's just,
where Thrawn starts.
Clone Wars, Thrawn. It was a really enjoyable book for me, and it was nice seeing the ascent of Thrawn. Getting to see him before he's the big kahuna, the big cheese. It's I always enjoy those kind of stories. I did this list. I limited myself to 1 book per series, which was easier than I thought, yet more difficult than I thought, because it left me with some tough choices with some book series. And this was the first one of those. Number 4 is Darth Bane, Rule of 2. Yeah, it's that middle book in the series. And, the first book and the third book, they're all, it's an amazing trilogy, top to bottom. But just that middle book, because it sets the foundation for everything we know in the future. And I always enjoyed that, the history, the explanations, and seeing the machinations, of the different characters was always fun. And number 3 is the Revan novel. When I started this list, I actually had it higher, and then it got bumped down. Well, it got bumped down 1 spot, but just, I enjoy that time period, those characters, and getting answers to questions I didn't even know I had. And setting up the story in the Old Republic in such a way that I enjoyed it a great deal.
All right, that brings us to our top 2, starting with Aiden.
So mine, there's a chance, is the only one without any of the original Thrawn trilogy in it, but my number 2 is Thrawn. It's the first one that Disney made. So yeah, that book is awesome for the reasons Kieran was saying. It shows you how Thrawn is smart in really cool ways. And I like that it takes place over 10 years to show you all of Thrawn's origin, like we're becoming Grand Admiral. And it's just awesome. I don't know, Kieran said a lot of good stuff about it, so I'll just leave it there. My number 1 is surprisingly not the Hondo book, because I love Hondo, but it's Revan. That book, as both of you have said, is pretty damn great. And it does a good job at being a sequel to Knights of the Old Republic 1, and then there's a time jump, and then it's kind of a sequel to Knights of the Old Republic 2. And in being both of those things, it's sort of a prequel to the Old Republic. And it does a pretty damn good job of being all of those, I'd say. And it's also really grim, and I like how Drew Karpyshyn writes. He wrote the Bane books as well, and he kicks ass. And he wrote Mass Effect. He's awesome. So,
he also wrote
Knights
of the Old Republic?
Yeah, that too.
So, Jade says in the chat, Sean's reaction to seeing your super chat. Yeah, I'm looking down at my phone. I looked up and seen Intel super chat, and it's a good one. Intel Wild chimes in. I'm confused. I haven't heard Michael, Lori, or Dr. Loomis mentioned once tonight. I roll. Yeah, wrong show, bro. Wrong show. Tommy B, give us your top 2, man.
Okay, so coming in at my number 2, I chose the Revan Old Republic novel. We've talked about it on the channel a number of different times. It really, you've said it before, this, since we didn't get a game, is probably the closest we're ever going to get to, quote-unquote, Knights of the Old Republic 3. It's great. It's fantastic. Tells that last bit of a Revan story prior to the Old Republic. And for number 1, I did choose Darth Bane Path of Destruction, which I've also discussed previously. It is pretty much hands down my favorite Star Wars novel. It tells the origin story of Bane, how he got involved with the Sith, how he eventually honed his Force abilities and would go on to become Dark Lord of the Sith and found the rule of 2. So that's it for me. Coming in number 1, Darth Bane, Path of Destruction.
That was really hard to take you seriously there for a second.
Why is that?
Your glasses look like they're hanging down off your face a bit, almost like you're a grandma.
Oh, my glasses are...
Yeah, they look like they're slipping off your nose, man.
Fuck off.
Old
At
school
least I'm not wearing a mask as a frickin' chin diaper.
A what?
A chin diaper.
What does that even mean?
Park.
Yeah, South Park.
Oh.
Exactly, South Park. Yeah, the pandemic special. It's a pandemic special.
The only thing South Park has done recently that I give the remotest rat's ass about is attend a Broncos game.
Have you seen the pandemic special?
No.
Then go see the pandemic
The
special.
last time, let me put it to you. Okay, Tom,
go see
the
pandemic special. I've gotten old people to go and watch the pandemic special. This is one of the best things that's. And I am of the strong, firm opinion that this is going to go down as one of the best episodes. Period. Yes. Exclamation mark. Bullet point to the second power. Amen.
Tommy just yelled so loud it echoed in Canada.
I literally muted him for a second because of how loud he was coming across.
Last time
Wow.
that show did something I cared about, it was a trapper keeper.
I gotta be honest.
There's your hot take. We can skip the hot take.
Here's a hot take. South Park is garbage. And just, not
Eat
for me.
ass.
Well, I mean, that's a different kind of show, Tommy. That's an OnlyFans show.
Actually, it sounds to me like we skipped South Park. Now we're talking about Team America.
See, it's funny because I actually found Team America funny. South Park,
Team
I
America
don't.
was funny.
So, all right, my number 2 and number 1, Heir to the Empire is number 2 for, for most people, it's their number 1. But the introduction of Thrawn, as much as I like the new Thrawn novel, it doesn't hold up to Heir to the Empire. And then number 1 for me, which might surprise some, is Spectre of the Past. It's the first of the Hand of Thrawn duology. The route that they go with Thrawn's appearance in that, and what we see the big four go through in that book. It's incredible. It's a really good follow-up to the Thrawn trilogy.
All right. My number 2 is the first Bane book, Path of Destruction. I also really like the book. I feel like at the start he seems like just a regular guy, a regular disgruntled, angry guy, but it seems like the Sith Lords, when we think of them, we always think of them as being born super evil and whatever. He seems like a guy who just drove himself to be more and more powerful. And also when he learns about things that the Sith are doing, he's like, that's dumb. Why don't we do it this way? He seems to take over. He's not, he respects the old Sith lore and stuff like that. And this is not all in the first book, but he seems to come along things and correct them and really bring order to the Sith, which is really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the first book. And my number 1 is Dr. Loomis. He's the best character in, no, I'm just kidding. Shout out to Intel Wild. We can't ignore our super chats, right? My number 1 is actually the third Bane book. Dynasty of Evil. Yeah, I just the end of the book when Bane is becoming so.
1 second. You're good.
Really?
Go now.
What?
Continue. I didn't want you to spoil it for me. Continue. I got my headset off.
He didn't read the third book?
I haven't read any of the Bane books yet.
I don't know how
You
to
don't
respond
know
to that,
the end.
because-
I mean, I don't think I ever read it entirely or finished it, the third book, but you have to know the ending. How do you not know the ending? It's pretty much, yeah.
Talk about
Yeah,
it.
he marries Princess Leia.
Yeah, for real.
It was obvious.
You guys are all wrong. It clearly ended when Michael Myers showed up and stabbed him, and and then he got shot by a blaster 6 times.
And then
Yeah.
Loomis in the corner. No. That's the best part. Anyways, I actually like the third book because, like when he's really paranoid at the end and he thinks he's getting weak, and like the way it describes his paranoia is awesome. So that's just a highlight from the book. But I was probably going to put my top 3 as Bane, but I took number 2 out of there and fit a book that another book that I like down lower instead, just to not be so boring. But the Bane series, everyone should read it. Anyone who's in the chat, if you're like just the horror fans who are hanging around, well, read Bane books too. They're also awesome. They're he's evil. He could be a serial killer.
They paint him as a protagonist or an anti-hero.
What?
I think is more accurate.
What?
He does
An
like bite a
anti-hero
dude's
is
nose
more
off
accurate.
like in the first 5 pages
In
of
the
the
first book, yeah.
doesn't he?
I have 2 words that tell you that Darth Bane cannot be a protagonist, or at least a good
Well,
guy.
I'm not
Like, if that's
gonna
how
I'm
you
not
paint
gonna
it.
The words
defend that
Darth?
point too strongly.
No, the words
because
are
I've
hot
argued-
bomb.
I think I said this before, but protagonist means you're the person driving the book forward.
And you're right, technically, but when people say protagonist, antagonist, typically they mean good guy.
Yeah,
bad guy.
and I've
So, I
argued
mean-
that before, Johnny. So I'm not
And
gonna
maybe wrong.
I'm not gonna die on this hill of Darth Bane being a protagonist, but I will
I mean,
sit
if we're sticking
firmly
to
on the
if we're
idea of
sticking to the
he's an
technical definition of the word
anti-hero.
then you're absolutely right. That's definitely a good phraseology for him. But the 2 words I use to describe him as an evil dude: thought bomb.
I'm sorry, was that Kieran's number 1?
Yes.
All right, so Johnny, let's
Don't
give
ask
your
me.
2. Yeah, we're falling behind on some super chats here.
Okay, then we'll pick it up a bit. My number 2 is Legacy of the Force Invincible. It just
By the way, before you go any further on this, I know you haven't heard from him. I haven't heard from him. It's like he fell off the face of the planet, basically. I know he's around there and dealing with some personal issues that have gone down with him over the last year and a half. But Ty, if you're listening out there, and I'm sure you're keeping up to some extent, you always have in the past. We love you, buddy, and hope to have you back on here soon.
amen. But yeah, I mean, their projects definitely revitalized my love in that book and help push it back up. And my number 1, I really don't need to say much more. Heir to the Empire.
Fantastic. All right.
I have on my little pad of paper, I wrote it down. I have Heir to the Empire, and I scratched it out. And then everyone said Heir to the Empire, and I was like, okay, well, still got the love.
All right, let's get over to the chat. We have some super chats to get to. Frank Riker says, what novel do you think would be a great movie, and which would be a financial disaster, or because it's Star Wars, people will go see anything? Well, Frank, I think Solo proved that is, in fact, not the case. I mean, it had production disaster, basically had to reshoot 90% of the film, had to market the movie twice. And then at the end of the day, it still didn't make half of what just a normal Star Wars movie makes. So it was bad for them, really bad for them. For me, I have a sort of a dual answer on this. The first one would be the Revan book. But if you're doing the Revan book as a movie, you need to go back and do Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 first.
You can't start there.
And you can't do those 2 games in 2 movies. It just doesn't work. that way. It'd almost have to be 3 or 4 movies before you got to the Revan book. And then the other one would be, let's recast the big 3 or bring back Alden Ehrenreich, and let's get Winter Soldier dude. Why is his name slipping my mind? Sebastian Stan in as Luke Skywalker. Bring someone in as Leia, and let's do Heir to the Empire. I mean, it's not going to happen now because it's new canon, but I'm telling you, recasting is okay because it keeps the characters alive. Just because a performer isn't with us anymore or is too old to play the part doesn't mean that someone else can't play the part and, make it their own to an extent. So they'd be my 2. What about you guys?
I mean,
Bane.
What would be? Yeah, I mean, Bane movies would be great.
I think a disaster would be, I don't know. Oh, Catalyst. That book sucks. It's so boring.
Yeah,
I'm looking at my bookshelf right now. I don't like that.
Thank you.
I'd probably go with a novel written by...
no, I don't like that book.
A disaster one for me would be a novel written by Jason Fry. I think it was titled The Last Jedi. Oh, wait. Hang on. Continue.
Yeah, see, that'd be wrong, because if you based it on the novel, it'd probably be good.
Actually, the novel's half decent. I like the novel way better than the movie.
That's the point I was getting there, So that would actually be an improvement. For me, if you want to pick something to redo, I think you have to go back to Bane, because otherwise you run into such canon confusion that, you really can't do anything there. You got to go back in time, and Bane's the logical place to go. If you want to do something that'd be like a financial flop, I think maybe one of the anthology books. What was it? The one that just came out a couple years ago. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank on the name. Yes, because you'd have all of those different stories interspersed. You'd be spending way too much in production. That making your money back, you'd need to,
I think that'd be cool to see them done as they are short stories, but see like a straight to Disney Plus thing of that. I'd be all for that.
That'd be cool, but as a film, I don't think it would do good because everything is so short. It would try to do too much as a film. As a Disney Plus series, I'm all for that, but that'd be a smart thing. And well, if there's one thing we've learned is that they're not all about the smart decisions.
Kieran and Thomas, what do you guys think?
I'm not really. I mean, I can't think of anything that would, I can think of books that would suck, or books that sucked, but then I don't think they would have any chance of making them a movie. I really hated, was it Fatal Alliance? Is that the book that I keep talking about, Thaden? That's under your shelf there, and I'm like, that book sucks.
It's The Old Republic.
Yes, it's right here.
That book. Yeah, wait, stick it up. Yeah, that book fucking sucked.
That's excessive.
It's told by 100 different points of view, and nothing ever gets. It's just dumb. But I don't see why they would ever be like, oh, we should make that into a movie. So, I don't know.
I'm really happy that Catalyst was mentioned because I got that book when it came out on hardcover, brand new release. I think it was $20, $30. I think someone gave it to me for my birthday. It might have been my wife.
Condolences.
I know, right? And I got the first couple chapters in and I just couldn't do it anymore. I was bored to shit.
I read the whole thing. There's only any actual tension in the last 20 pages of the book.
Oh my God! It's even worse than I thought.
It's just a biography.
I kept on telling myself,
if I
just keep going, just a little more, and it'll get good.
It doesn't.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I don't like that book.
So yeah, don't make that a movie. Number one, we don't want to see the prequel to Rogue One.
And what would make a successful one?
Bane.
Bane's the big winner here today. Bane, winner, chicken dinner. Until
chicken dicker, chicken dicker.
I got a good
getting
one.
that dickin'.
Chicken the dick.
Hey,
what are you doing with chickens, bro?
Wait, Kieran, are you gonna say the Hondo book? 'Cause that book's amazing.
No, I forgot.
Kenobi!
I came up with this idea a little bit ago. Actually, I think I kind of got steered towards it from something else I was listening to, but I think it might have been another podcast or a video I pulled up. But anyways, they were talking about how there's already a score for Shadows of the Empire, and how easy it would be to make a movie, like maybe an animated movie out of that. And I thought it was a fantastic idea. So that's one that would work if they made like an animated Shadows of the Empire movie.
Shadows of the Empire would be so good. Oh my God.
And they already have the music for it. So
I'd be so down for that. So we have, what do we have here? Intel Wild says, thank you. Frank Riker sends us a super chat, says, when does the Star Wars eating ass novel come out? It's already out, man. It
stars Darth Maul and Boba Fett.
Yeah, and the author was Tommy B.
Actually, if you prefer, there's a film version. It's available in back alleys and hallways at most conventions. You just have to find the right person.
You can also look for my spin-off book, Star Wars Kissing Ass, written by me.
Wait, you wrote a Kathleen Kennedy biography?
Oh my God, that was good. That was good, but not quite as good as this super chat in from the Nightmare Man, and now I can't unsee it. Kieran, is Richard Gere your father? Oh my God, you do look like Richard Gere. Holy shit! You take off the beard and it's like, oh my God.
From the angle we're looking at you,
I just had
it's
to
a
search
little
him.
weird.
And you had to search Richard Gere?
Yeah, I don't know what he looks like.
Let's remember how young he is, dude. Let's just.
So you searched him and.
Yeah, no, it's a little scary.
I'd be heading.
That's our
that's a pretty good
relation twist for this podcast.
That guy's been a ladies' man for like 30 years now. Well, actually longer than that, probably.
I'd be hitting him up for some cheddar cheese. That's what I'd be doing. Because God knows. I could
star in Pretty Woman too.
Oh my God, the horns are going off today. Tommy B just looks annoyed. He's like, who the fuck is Richard Gere? Like, can we just get the show on?
Why should I fucking care?
It's Kieran's dad. That's why.
Mention that he looks like Tim Burton.
My God, wow, this has been a good one. This has been a fun one. All right,
he's Tom Burton.
Let's shift gears again. Let's get to a bit of a debate here. We'll see how much of a debate it is. We're all going to list who we think the best director of a Star Wars movie is. So not like his body of work, but who is the best. Like, so you might think that Empire Strikes Back is the best movie, but maybe you think the best director on a Star Wars movie is George Lucas or J.J. Abrams or Rian Johnson. We'll see. Rian Johnson. Anyway, let's get to it. Best director on a Star Wars movie. And hit and lead off. We'll go clockwise again. Johnny, what do you got, man?
Wow, you completely changed the heart of the question there on me. Like, I had my answer teed up, best director. Well, it's got to be Irvin Kershner because that's the best Star Wars film. It's one of the best films ever, but he doesn't really have the body of work.
Well, no, it's not really about his body of work. It's about his directing job on a Star Wars movie.
Well, then in that case, the answer is Ivan Kershner because Empire is one of the best films ever made.
The answer is who?
Irvin Kershner.
There you go. That's better.
Did I miss what?
You said Ivan. Well, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't Gary Kershner where he combined Gary Kurtz and Irvin Kershner together.
See, I was originally going to go for the Jake Damon joke, but I couldn't remember what he actually used, and then I kind of half flubbed into, a half Damon.
A half Damon. Thaden, who you got, man?
Take a guess.
Oh boy.
So my
if
actual
you pick
answer
wrong,
is...
somebody may punch you next week.
Yeah. So here I'm gonna do this thing to stop you guys from getting angry. My actual answer would be Rian Johnson. I love that movie, everything about it. Yeah. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna actually talk about Ron Howard. I think he did a great job with Solo, and it's like a fun, fast-paced movie, and like it's pretty different. The same as Rian Johnson, I guess, but like I don't know, it's a very good like adventure movie, I feel like, and it has some cool setup for some cool scenes, and I think like just the way it's filmed, even though it's fast paced, I felt like I was sucked in the whole time, which doesn't happen with J.J. Abrams' Star Wars movies to me. So yeah, that's my number 2 technically, but we all know my number 1, so.
I just look
stuck with Ron Howard. I'd accept that.
I think Rian Johnson is a great director, but when your job's to follow up the previous movie, that's got to be taken into account. And
he did though.
But was the problem directing or was the problem writing?
I mean, he did both, so.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, which one was the greater sin? Like, his directing wasn't actually that bad.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair statement.
Bad writing.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been given the keys to write it. But,
no, he shouldn't.
Tommy?
I thought it was good.
No.
Go put some gerbils in your pants and leave us alone.
No.
What do you mean no?
No.
You haven't. You don't know what we're talking about, do you?
Or no, like
he's lost again. He's completely fucking clueless.
You changed the whole freaking show. That's what I am.
Show.
Yeah, he really didn't. He just changed the way he introed it. And
okay.
It was different.
Did he mean question?
Let's
go with Kirshner.
Kirshner, I'm a Kirshner guy too. I mean, when you consider how heavily George Lucas controlled everything on A New Hope, and how he tried to come in and control things on Empire, and Kirshner basically said, you hired me to do a job, fuck off, George. And I think the fact that Kirshner taught George, too, is a big thing, so he sort of had a little bit of leverage in that regard.
I know more than you do, George.
So, it's amazing how many people, though, like non-diehard Star Wars fans, think George Lucas directed Empire Strikes Back.
That saddens me a great deal. Because if he had have actually done Empire, that would make the prequels so much worse.
Frank Riker says all this show is about is eating ass and gerbils now. Because Intel Wild sent it a super chat, gerbils, and then he says, Google gerbils and Richard Gere. It's out there.
It's like Sid Vicious and squirrels. It's weird.
I'm gonna tempt fate here and Google this. Anyways, I believe it's Kieran's shot here.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say Kirshner as well, but just to go against the grain, when I think of like who the best director is, I try to think of how the movie is acted. It's because I assume that if the movie is acted poorly, then the director says like, no, that wasn't good enough. We need to get something better, which is why I think that George Lucas must be the worst of them, because all of the terrible, really terrible goddamn lines in any Star Wars movies are all in the ones that he directed. Like if there's a top 10 bad lines in Star Wars, they're all in those movies. So, I mean, just to go against Empire Strikes Back being probably the best directed, I'll say Gareth Edwards. He's the one, he directed the Rogue One, correct? Is that his name?
Sort of, yeah, I guess you could say that.
Your argument is you're picking a director because the performances are good, and then you pick Gareth Edwards?
Yeah, the performances I love in that. I love all the performances in that movie.
Well,
is Alan Tudyk the only person in that movie?
I was gonna say I mean, I like Rogue One. I've really turned around on Rogue One, but a really important thing to remember with movies like Rogue One, and even Return of the Jedi, Kieran's favorite, is with Rogue One, Gareth Edwards was the director, and then they reshot a good chunk of that movie, 40 to 50% of it, and Gareth Edwards was basically benched and Tony Gilroy came in and cleaned up after him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then let's just say Kirshner then, because I didn't know that.
And then with Return of the Jedi, while Richard Marquand is listed as the director, it's popular belief by basically every known media source out there that he was basically a placeholder name, and George Lucas came in and did whatever the hell he wanted with Return of the Jedi, and Marquand basically sat there going, "Okay, George, anything you want." So
I'm just here to get paid.
Fun fact on those two things. I think we all answered that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Intel Wild in with another.
And Ryan.
Intel Wild in with another super chat. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers for becoming the NBA champions once again. I do think it's very, I'm not a big Lakers fan by any means, and specifically not a big LeBron fan. But when you consider the guy's age and how much he dominates, and I mean, the fact they won it on the year or the season anyway, where Kobe passed away is pretty fitting. I mean, I like that. I've dug some of the Photoshop photos I've seen out there of Kobe looking down on them, and that's cool. It's cool stuff. All right, though, ladies and gentlemen, we are an hour and 6 minutes into this thing, and it's been a fun show, guys. But we've reached what I would call possibly my favorite segment of the show. I don't know what the rest of you guys think, but it's a lot of fun, and it's time for the Death Watch.
I claim this sword and my rightful place as leader of Death Watch.
All right, so the way the Death Watch works is it's basically our form of Star Wars trivia. Every question that is given in the Death Watch is a question about a Star Wars death that could have happened in novels or comics or graphic novels or movies or animated shows or video games. You can use the same character. Like if someone asks how Luke Skywalker dies, 3 weeks from now they could do Luke again and just change the wording of the question. So there's infinite possibilities here. The way this works is we have two quizmasters on tonight's show. Unfortunately, it is Tommy and Johnny B as the quizmasters. As
yeah!
I'm sorry. Did you just call me Johnny B?
Oh, I thought I said Johnny V, but okay.
Johnny B.
Very easy to get those two mixed up.
26 years and you're calling me by the wrong name.
Johnny B.
Well, I mean, if you shorten the middle name, it could still be accurate.
No.
But yeah, it could be.
No.
I don't want to say your middle name on air if you don't want me to say it. So
you'd have to get some really specific shortening.
Is it hibiscus?
What?
My middle name. I'm not named after a flower, you idiot.
Wow. All right. So the way this works is you have Kieran versus Thaden versus myself. Johnny and Tommy B have prepared the questions. They will sort out who gets to answer which question. Thaden was last week's winner, I believe. Which means
I was.
So
you and Kieran were the quizmasters. Duh.
Yeah. So Thaden would get to pick the first number, and then we'll eventually get to pick if he goes first, second, or third. But before we do, Intel Wild in with the super chat, Tommy B. Stop acting disinterested, you piece of poop, and sit up your slouching. I might have added.
He did not. He paraphrased.
I added the piece of poop in.
Piece of poop.
Intel's too nice for that. I'm probably going to get some heat for that one now. All righty. So Johnny, Tommy, we've done this enough times, so take it away, gentlemen.
All right. I have the numbers. We'll start with Thaden, and we'll wrap around in a clockwise circle because that's the easiest way to keep track. Pick a number between 1 and 10.
6.
No.
2.
No.
3.
Yes. Okay, so what's the first one for? Are we deciding who if he goes first or the
Wait,
number order or the
hang on.
category?
Who got it?
Kieran.
Kieran got it. Well, he would get to pick the category.
All right.
I pick category 1.
Okay. All right. It's been a while since I've quizzed.
Thaden's the champ, so he gets to pick next.
He gets to pick okay. I had a second number. I couldn't remember the protocol. Thaden, category 2 or category 3?
3.
3? Sage, that leaves you with category 2.
Shut up. I already know what it is. Unbelievable.
Sean, did you get books?
Would you guys like to know what category
Scholastic books.
Every single time I've gotten literature. Unbelievable.
Actually, I will. Let's give him a little bit of discllaimer. This week,
he already did. He already did. Thank God.
Yeah, I already told him that. I told him that off the top before you got in the call.
No.
Okay.
So,
so you can just go fuck yourself.
Kieran, your category is movies and television. Thaden, you picked games, proctored by Tommy. Kieran, yours is Tommy and myself. And Sage, you got literature entirely by me. Okay, Thaden, you're the defending champ. Where would you like to bat?
Second.
You're gonna bat second? Kieran, you picked the number correctly. You want to go first or third?
I'll go first.
Okay, Kieran, you got movies. So I'm just gonna. Oops. So I don't forget whose category is whom's. Okay, Kieran. Question number 1. Tommy, are you running the clock, or do you want me to do that?
I could do it. Let me. Oh, my phone's over there.
So it's 20 seconds, and you need to count down from 5, and then if he asks for a repeat, it starts from 10.
Okay, all right. I got my stopwatch going here. When I finish reading the question, the clock will start. I served in the rebellion during the latter years of the Galactic Civil War. I was a gunner. Although I died in aerial combat, my corpse would be crushed shortly thereafter. Who am I?
Why couldn't I have this one? Man, this is a softball.
Sorry, repeat the question.
All right.
Question softer than a baby's ass.
I served in the rebellion during the latter years of the Galactic Civil War. I was a gunner. Although I died in aerial combat, my corpse would be crushed shortly thereafter. Who am I? 5.
Dak.
That is correct. Pushing that one close.
I didn't have that until the very end of that. I was like, oh my God, what is that? And then I was like, oh,
you knew about this question.
I did. You came up with it, but I was there for that.
Yes, I did.
Okay, Thaden, you are second. So, Tommy, over to you.
Okay, let's see. Pull this up. Question number 1. As a dark Jedi, I wield a I wield a wed.
He wields a wedding.
I wield a red lightsaber. I was a secondary antagonist of Jedi Knight Academy. I was killed by Jaden Core. Who am I? You got this, right, Johnny?
Yep.
Time.
Yep.
Thank you.
I got this one too.
Son of a bitch.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Repeat the question.
As a dark Jedi, I wield a red lightsaber. I was a secondary antagonist of Jedi Knight Academy. I was killed by Jaden Core. Who am I?
5, 4, 3, 2.
No idea.
1.
It was Allura. Allura was the answer. Allura was an apprentice of Tavion, and secondary is kind of...
I was going to say, really, she'd be kind of like the third, right?
That's not what got me anyways.
She was a major antagonist, but Tavion and Marco Ragnos
ends up being the big one, yeah.
All right, Sage.
Ugh.
Question number 1. I have served on both sides of the Sith and Jedi factions. I rose high in a smuggler's operation. I chose not to become one with the Force. Who am I?
Mara Jade.
That was quick and correct.
Eventually she becomes one with the Force, but she intentionally leaves her body to be investigated. Try to out her nephew.
Indeed.
Where was the Scholastic characters there, Johnny?
You've mistaken me for someone else, kind sir.
Whoa, so after round 1, Thaden is trailing.
Indeed.
Wow.
All right. Here we go. It's time for round number 2. Kieran, you're out first. Okay. My only son is also dead. I was involved in the Battle of Yavin. I would fight both for and against the Empire. Who am I?
Repeat.
My only son is also dead. I was involved in the Battle of Yavin. I would fight both for and against the Empire. Who am I? Five, 4, 3, 2,
Darth Vader?
1. That is correct.
Oh.
Anakin Skywalker.
Woo.
Question number 2. I was a member of Inferno Squad. I was not loyal to my team. I would later be killed by one of my former team members. Who am I?
Oh, crap. This could...
5, 4...
Repeat the question?
I was a member of Inferno Squad. I was not loyal to my team. I would later be killed by one of my former team members. Who am I?
Gideon Hask?
Correct.
Okay, I didn't know if it was Gideon Hask or Iden Versio, because in a way they both betrayed their team. In a way,
All right.
I mean, he betrays the team by not going with her, so yeah.
He's a dick.
He is a dick.
So Thaden stays alive. Thades to keep pace. I have probably the longest lifespan of any Star Wars character. I was trained as Jedi before becoming a Dark Lord. I was awoken during the Galactic Civil War. Who am I? Five, 4, 3, 2,
Repeat the
1.
question.
You just got that under the wire. All right. I have probably the longest lifespan of any Star Wars character. I was trained as a Jedi before becoming a Dark Lord. I was awoken during the Galactic Civil War. Who am I? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Plagueis?
Your time.
No, that's not it. I have no idea.
That is incorrect. Exar Kun. Exar Kun.
The Galactic Civil War was over when he was awoken.
No, he was awoken